Okay. So welcome. Hello, everybody.
Thank
This
you.
is, we're meeting for Dream Night. Now, before we begin, why don't we ground and center a little? I don't know if any of you went outside to see the moon, but she's really big and bright still. We missed her here last night. So
Not up yet.
let's do a little grounding in the ground, but also reaching up to the moon because she's the mistress of dreams. Okay? So just relax, sit with your feet on the ground. You take 3 deep cleansing breaths and let them out with a sigh. Let the day go. Let the week go. And now let even the month go. And now with each breath, just let it roll through you like an ocean wave. And let the breath roll down through your body, down through your legs, out your feet, and down into the earth. The one point where we all intersect, I just found that out. And of course, it's true, the center of the earth. And just let waves of relaxing water and breath ripple down through your body. And relax. Relax the muscles that you're holding tense. Relax your neck and your shoulders, your hands, your head, and reach down. Okay, now I want you to imagine the big, beautiful, almost full moon that we have outside tonight. Beautiful, bright, shining white. I took a poetry class the other night and I wrote a poem about the moon, but one of the images was that the moonlight is the moon's laughter trickling down on us. So just for a minute, let her beautiful light, like laughter, trickle down on you and just rain on you and just relax you. And now in your heart, ask the Moon Mother to leave a space in you to open your imagination, open your third eye, so that you begin to reflect on and understand your dreams. Thank you, O Moon Mother, or Grandmother. Blessed be. Okay. Okay, so Tasha sent me a dream, so she gets to go first. Because she sent me the dream. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay, so why don't you tell us the dream? I'm going to be looking at it as you're telling it to me, okay?
Okay. So in the dream, I am at my own funeral. There was a sense that I was dead. I was supposed to be dead, and all of a sudden I wasn't dead, but my funeral had already been planned, so I decided to attend it myself since it was still going on. It was still going to go on, but there was a sense of sort of shame and guilt, like, oh, I'm an imposter, I'm a fraud. I hope no one recognizes me and thinks that I'm cheating or doing something wrong. It's a very bizarre sort of thing. And so I'm there, and it's this large open room. Lots of people. Interestingly, all of them are strangers, except later in the dream, I ended up seeing my dad across the room, but we didn't talk or make contact. But so there's a table in the corner just laden with all these appetizer type foods, cakes and cookies and things like that. And so everyone's filling up plates with food, and so I do that. So we eat. I glance out towards the front of this room and I see a table there in the entryway full of these little booklets that have green covers. And I just have this knowing, like dream knowing, that, okay, that must be the program. the story of my life or something about me, to go with this funeral. So I need to make sure I get one before this is over with. But then I went back to the food, and then at that point, the table where the food had been was cleared of the food, and there were all these little baskets and containers of little cheap trinkets and knickknacks for people to take and pick up. And among them were these like little gold rings, like sort of cheap costume jewelry with a very thick gold band, very thin metal, but it was thick, and then as far as the width of, or the height of it, going around the finger, and it had little stones. In the waking world, I had been given a similar type stone. I don't know if you can see that here, but it's
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. The faceted cut. The stones were sort of similar to that, except very just cheap costume type thing. But in the dream, these were novel to me. It didn't remind me at all of this ring that I have in actual life. And so I thought, oh, I'll pick up one with a purple stone. There were different color stones. So I picked up the purple one. And later I thought, oh, I want to get another one with another purple stone. So I went to get one. It had the purple stone. I picked it up. But then later, a few minutes later, I look at it, and it's actually not purple. It's pink. And I'm disappointed because it wasn't the purple I was expecting and had previously gotten. It was a little strange, sort of almost shape-shifting kind of thing. And so then, I'm expecting there to be funeral type things, but there aren't. Then there's a table with even more food, just like huge portions and larger, heartier type food, more of like a meal. And this is all buffet type style, go and serve yourself. And so then everyone was doing that, and I was as well. And so I kept wondering, when are we going to get to it? When is this going to happen? But then there was also that sense of, I'm an imposter, I'm a fraud here, I hope no one recognizes me or, shames me for that. And I felt sort of ashamed, and what am I doing here? And never interacted with anyone, didn't speak with anyone, no one spoke to me, although I was, among the people that were there. And like I said, later on, then I saw my dad across the room, and I felt guilty with all the food too. I was thinking, my God, my dad's having to pay for all of this food for all these people, and here I am not even dead, and this is my funeral, and all these people were all eating this food, and dad's having to pay for all this. And so I see him across the room in the brown corduroy jacket, that he's always had. But we didn't make eye contact or talk or have any interaction. And so then that was pretty much the end of it there. So.
Okay. So, first of all, that's a big dream to have, that it's your death. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you? In what ways are you changing? Because of course, death is just a transformation, and we have gone through Samhain. So one of the tasks that we've all taken on is die. Let the old part of you that needs to go die. So have you been sort of working with that kind of spiritual energy at all? Or is this out of the blue?
Yeah, very much so. And that's interesting. I didn't even make the connection with Samhain and then where we are in the Wheel of the Year. But yeah, that absolutely resonates with where I am. A lot of things from my childhood, some difficult abusive kind of things from there, and then things with my ex ending, and some other traumatic events that happened 4 years ago that had kind of gotten me off the rails for a bit, and trying to finally work through that energy and at a place of healing and letting it go. And okay, now I'm through that. So how has this transformed me, like the phoenix rising from the ashes? Where do I go now? And so yeah, like that dying of the old, or dying away of the old, but of course it's not lost. It's still a part of you. Yeah, that theme is definitely prevalent.
Well, the thing is, we're all going to this. It's a collective shift. We've been doing it, working it now since 2012 and 2015 with the big Uranus-Pluto square, astrologically. But we're going through this transformation, and it's so hard to let things go. Our culture doesn't train us to die, does it? Okay? It doesn't train us to let go. It doesn't train us to say, it's safe. It's time to lay this part of yourself down. That's why we talk about things like the midlife crisis instead of the midlife transformation, right? So here's your time and you're dead, but your ego is observing it. You in the dream is the ego. It's your consciousness, okay? Not the, oh, I have a bad ego, just the center of consciousness, okay? The part of you that's talking to me, that is aware of things. And the rest of the dream is what's going on in the unconscious. So the first thing I guess I would say to you is would this be your wake of choice, your funeral of choice?
Absolutely not. Quite the opposite. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. It was quite bizarre, and just the strange sort of coldness and detached sense of it, and not you know, nothing like it, and just the odd emotions that I was feeling too. That sense of being a fraud and an imposter, and I guess that ties into some issues too. Some multiple traumatic events, including suicides of loved ones and some other deaths in 2013. Triggered the recurrence of an eating disorder that I had when I was decades younger. And so, there's this, I've worked through that a lot. There's a lot of healing that's gone on with that in the past year, but that, maybe that food shame, and I'm a registered dietitian. And so being that in that sector of life, like, oh, I'm supposed to be a professional, but yet I'm a fraud. I don't know, maybe there was some psychological aspect, so, subconsciously that was coming out with those feelings.
Right.
In the dream, but that, just the fact that everyone was strangers, and it was no one that I knew or I thought that had known me, that just struck me as very, very odd. How did that happen?
Well, maybe it's our collective funeral. Okay, maybe it's our collective funeral, and all the people all around the world that are ready to die are there, and they're being nurtured. So there's different ways to approach it. The first thing I would say is you need to get over guilt. Okay, guilt is a wasted emotion. Were you Roman Catholic or Jewish?
I was very strict conservative Christian, like very judgmental, intolerant Christian. How I was raised. I'm not.
Okay, Calvinist, something like that, Lutheran, whatever. Okay, so that's that addiction to perfection that the patriarchy especially wants us women. We have to be perfect. We have to be wonderful. Well, first of all, what good would you be as a dietitian and if you hadn't gone through the struggle? It's real easy for someone who can eat anything they want to say to somebody who's overweight, well, I really, this is what you do. So part of our journey, I think, is to bear the weight of our complexes, if you will. Okay. And so it isn't about being guilty. It's about, I have the tools to work with, and now I'm going to work even deeper, and I'm going to take it to a new level. Because now everything's different, and all those, of course, we're going to go back into body stuff. My son, I hope he doesn't listen, but he told me that, he lives in Dubai, and he's working really hard, and he's alone a lot. He was alone for Thanksgiving, and he said he hurt his back. It went into a spasm, so he went out and he bought a lot of food, and he just ate till he was stuffed. It was on Thanksgiving, and they don't get off on Thanksgiving. So, do you know what I mean? We all, there are all those moments when we're alone, and we, of course, our complex is like our good mother. It says, come here, I will take care of you, right? So part of it is, okay, we're there. How good does it feel? Okay, maybe we need, next time, maybe we won't go that deep because we're more aware. One of the things we have to realize is that as we get conscious, we go on a spiral. So here, you might be here and you're looking at it. You go, okay, I'm dealing with that. I've dealt with it. But then, you hit it down lower and you go, I thought I dealt with this. But it's excavating. It's excavating, right?
Yeah, layers upon layers. And
body work, our bodies have been shamed for thousands of years, and they've been abused. So of course we come into this lifetime with body issues, okay? For me, when I was young, everybody said, you're so beautiful. And my mother wanted me to be thinner, even though I was kind of thin, not thin, but even though I wasn't really fat. And so I went on diet pills at 12 that I hated. And so I thought, you want to see something? Watch this, and I'll get fat and I'll stay fat. How do you like that? In rebellion, okay? But that then told me, well, what is beauty? And that's been my sort of search, psyche search. What is soul's? Where's beauty? Is it outside or inside? So, and that lines up with what I'm supposed to learn. So part of it is we shouldn't be ashamed of our wounds. Our wounds show the battles we've been through, and we should think they're beautiful.
I agree. There's strength. Without them, we wouldn't have learned the lessons necessary for the growth and where we're supposed to be evolving
That's right.
toward.
Yeah.
Definitely believe that and see that.
Yeah. There's a wonderful fantasy series by Sarah Mace called The Throne of Glass, and the heroine is the new queen, and she has been whipped and beaten. Her body is full of scars. She's an assassin and a warrioress and a magician. You know, and it's sort of like, yeah, the new feminine we have been through a lot. The goddess has been through a lot. Look at how we rip up her earth, how we have men who want to rip up her earth and take away the beauty from the rest of us. So if we are resonating with Mother Earth, our bodies bear those same wounds. Okay? So please don't feel guilty and feel like you're a fraud.
Thanks. It's not even conscious. I don't, because consciously I see it like you do, like, well, I've been through this. It's given me compassion and understanding for some of the things that others struggle with, and trying to bring a more holistic perspective. You know, my greater passion is herbalism and more earthy type approaches to this as far as food and all of that. So I guess it's just some really deep subconscious things that are coming out, you know, some current strife going on with my mother.
It's showing you your belief, okay? Because this was the night of the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our invocation for that night was, show me what my beliefs are so that I can sort through them and see if I truly believe them. And so it brought up the fact that even though consciously you go, oh, I understand all this, in there your ego's the one who's guilty. Nobody's shaming you in the dream. Nobody's doing anything to you.
No one cares. I'm just like, you know, a ghost almost, a phantasm there. But yeah, but then there's this internal sense of shame, you know, like this abashed, guilty child, you know, almost at the feast who shouldn't be there or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah. You know, my mother would say to me, you don't need this, but she never told me what I did need. You know, yeah. And it was like, thanks, Mom. You know, and not to blame her, but, you know, we all were given our wounds. You know, we chose them. I think we pick our parents. As I told my children, you picked me. I was here first. So tough luck. Harder when you look the other way and you go, I picked her. I picked this mother. But anyway, so, you know, part of it is being able to honor those wounds and say, okay, there was a reason I came in and I had to learn this lesson. And maybe it's just the idea that I need to balance my body and honor it, all of us women, and not care how fat or skinny it is, not care if, you know, if we don't look like Twiggy, or you can tell my age from the 60s, you know what I mean? That we don't look like boys. Okay. And then, but also that as a professional, it doesn't mean we have to be perfect. See, that was the other thing that came up for you. I'm a fraud because I'm a professional, so I should have it all together. Okay, look at the government, look at the businesses, look at the men. Do you think they have it all together? No.
Yeah.
No. Right? Women always try to be better than men. We have to prove ourselves. And the men sit back and go, look, the ladies are doing all the work, just like we always wanted them to do.
Yeah.
Right?
That was what came to me afterward, the sense that it might have been connected to that professional and food-related issues, you know, or just because those emotions were so pervasive within the dream. But, you know, there might be other aspects to that as well as just the body image and the professional part, although I do struggle with that sort of identity and getting through a lot of different things through which I've used that as a not quite conscious response, you know, lack of control. So the one thing you can control is your body. Of course, that's an illusion, but, you know, when you're deeply wounded and PTSD, you know, I don't know. So that was what sort of resonated to me as I was reflecting on the dream afterward. But, you know, there could be other elements to that as well as just the professional relevance as far as these things.
And I would like to suggest that at your funeral, okay, when your ego dies, all sorts of nourishment is available.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So the other side of it is, if you could just let go of your ego and die and let that part die, like the patriarchal daughter who goes, I have to be perfect, then there's so much riches, there's so much food, so many people can come and dine at your table.
Yeah, I like that. I definitely see there's so much abundance of, from all the little overflowing things of trinkets and sparkly, shiny things to all the people and all the food. Yeah, this wealth of abundance beyond that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then the ring is interesting because there is a sense of, okay, and you're so much like me in this sense. Sometimes I like to take two. Do you know what I mean? I have a Gemini ascendant. It's like, I'll take two. This is fun. If one is good, two is even better. So, but the other one turns pink. And so it's saying, get out of your spirituality, come down into your heart. Because unfortunately, we also are caught in patriarchal spirituality,
Yeah.
which says, come on, be perfect. Don't screw up. Don't do things, be a good little new age spiritual person. Just as much as be a good little Christian or a good little Jew or a good little Muslim, Part of it is spirituality is living our wholeness, our lights and our darkness, right?
Absolutely.
Right? And so it's almost like if you're going to fall into darkness, enjoy it, and then get up and go, okay, not going back there again for a while. What did I learn from that dive into the dark?
Yeah. Learn. Yeah. Yeah,
But if this were my dream, I would definitely say that I need to get rid of my judgments about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on the full moon of what do you believe?
Yeah.
So you're split between, oh yeah, I believe all that good stuff, but deep down, no, I don't.
Right, shining light on things that are hidden perceptions or misperceptions or things that you need to see and have your awareness drawn to on that particular night. Right.
Yeah.
Profound.
Okay.
That.
So the one thing in the dream you can always question is you in the dream, your ego attitude. Okay. All the rest is given. So there's a lot of nurturing in your psyche. Okay. Sometimes you might feel like it's too much. Okay. And sometimes it's too much to say, look, don't you recognize you have all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nurturing in you. I missed what you said. You say nurturing?
Pardon me?
Was it nurturing, the word that you used? It kind of broke up a little bit as you were saying. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of it has to do with that there's this nurturing in your psyche. There's strangers there. There's so many people that need to eat your food. Whether it's a big worldwide thing and you're hooking into the collective unconscious, okay? Or if it's just the parts of you that you haven't been feeding because you are trying to be so perfect.
Yeah, or escape, or both.
Yeah.
Yeah. The elements of people too that will come into play later that my life will touch, and just the sense of past, present, and future. Very interesting insights. Thank you so much. Very, very resonant with where I am now. I appreciate that a lot.
Good. And the rings are a promise usually, right? You get an engagement ring or a wedding ring, or they symbolize a unity. Okay, rings are circles, and it's like a vow, like a king or a queen wears a ring, right? To symbolize something, authority or connection. And so on one level, they're just trinkets, but you're trying, you have to begin wherever you need to begin. And so you need to begin connecting to your heart and to your imagination more.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And maybe at first you go, oh, that's nothing. It's not real. Yeah, it is. Turn those rings into gems, and you probably could.
Yeah, and to me, things like that are gems too. Just to describe them objectively, they would be described as cheap costume-like. But to me, that's the kind of thing that I'm drawn to things like that. So that hidden value. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Good.
Does anyone else have anything to say that you'd like to add, or is everybody good? Okay. Good. Take care of yourself. Good dreams. Have a talk with yourself. Okay. Go eat some good food. Get a few
Yeah.
of those rings.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Okay. So who would like to go next, Susie or Leah? Oh, and Susie's there too.
Actually, haven't had any dreams since a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, I'm switching to you. Nope, wrong one. Okay, Susie. Okay,
I tuned in just to learn. I haven't had any dreams in a couple of weeks.
okay.
It's been great though. Thanks.
Okay, great. Okay, so, Leah, oh, you want
Yes.
to come on?
Yeah. My throat is kind of raspy. I had another wedding dream, and boy, those wedding dreams have been coming up.
Okay,
But-
you're kind of echoing. So,
Yeah,
can everybody mute themselves just in case? Except for you, Leah. Don't mute yourself.
No.
And then maybe talk a little differently.
Okay, can you hear me better?
A little better, yeah.
Okay. I'm in this church last cathedral. I'm in the dark. I can see the pews, and I can see the altar.
Okay, I can't understand you. You're skipping around.
Okay, let me get away from this.
Is
Okay.
That's
Is it
better.
better?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I walked away from the television. I mean the computer.
Yeah.
I'm standing in the middle of a cathedral flat church, and I'm in the dark, and I can see the altar, and I can see, those big pillar candles they have on the side of
Yeah.
those altars, Catholic churches.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in there, and I'm waiting for the wedding procession to start. But
Can I just say something? You can get off the computer and just be on the phone, Or turn your computer down, because that's what I'm hearing, the echo. I'm hearing your phone and the computer all at once.
Yes, I did turn down the computer. I turned down the volume, and I don't know what this echo could be from. Could be because it shows my phone.
Okay. So anyway, you're in the cathedral, and there's all of the side altars.
Yeah, I can see the front of the altar, and I can see the candles. I'm in the dark, and I'm waiting for a wedding procession to start. But I'm the only one in the church. But I sense my sister B, who's the only sister who's alive now, is present. I don't see her, but she's there. Now, I have had dreams with her in the past, her and my mother. And it was always in a fight, and I would slap her around, scream at her, and my mother would be there, but she wouldn't do anything. Well, in the years, I learned that this is all about patriotism.
Okay, I've lost you again. Let me repeat it. I heard you say your sister B was there, but you couldn't see her. And you've often dreamt about her and your mother. And is it that you and B often fight in the dreams and your mother doesn't defend you? Or
Used to.
Pardon me?
Until I've learned that favoritism in my workplace, when I learned I would get angry because there's favoritism in my workplace, the dream went away. And I haven't slept with her presence in my dreams until this wedding that I dreamt. This was the morning of the full moon.
Okay, you really echoed then. So it was something about work. You had it at the full moon, and something about your sister and work. I really lost me right in the middle.
I just wonder how I can do this.
Can you shut your computer down totally, or just and get out of at least Foxfire and stay on the phone? Or are you speaking
I
from
can
the
probably do
computer?
that.
Are you speaking on the phone through your computer?
Okay, let me close and let's see what happens.
Okay, leaving meeting.
Are you there?
Yeah?
Oh, okay. I'm
Ah,
gone.
okay, much better. You don't need,
Yeah.
if you call, you don't need to have the computer on.
Oh, good. Because I wasn't sure. I wasn't because I'm not computer literate, where I could put myself on the screen.
I
So I don't
know.
do that.
Yep, we're the old ones. We're not quite sure. But okay, this is much better. So could you tell us the dream again?
Okay. I'm in I'm in a cathedral. It's like a slash church cathedral. And I'm there by myself. There's no people around, and I'm in the dark. And I can see the pews. I can see the altar. I can see the pillars of candles on the side. And I sense my sister B's presence there. I'm waiting for the procession, and that's what the dream was about, because it was a wedding dream again.
Okay.
Let me tell you a little bit how I become aware how my sister B and my mother in past dreams 20, 30 years ago when I was in therapy, how they became symbols to me about my issues about favoritism. And that was because when I worked and a boss would favoritize one of the employees, I would be very angry and upset. And that night I would have a dream. My slapping my sister around, my screaming at her, my mother being there, and mom never stopped us for doing anything. So then when I learned by just talking about it one day to a friend, I went, oh my God, because I was telling her about what happened to me at work. I said, I bet you that's what it's all about. So this is where the monster rears its ugly head whenever that would happen to me in reality. The
Okay.
dream would come. Well, when I learned that that's what it was, I learned to see where favoritism came into my subconscious. But here I am again, having this wedding dream this weekend on the full moon, left in the dark, sister present. I wasn't angry at her. She's just there. And we have reconciled our differences or our emotions towards each other through the years. And I mean, we were on the phone 9 hours, crying, laughing, screaming, whatever, but never hung up.
Good.
9 hours, long distance. And we're the only two girls alive now of the other two sisters. So here I am in the dark at a church, waiting for a wedding to
Okay.
happen. And that's the dream.
That's the
And
dream.
of course, yeah, and normally when I was taking speech classes and they wanted me to talk about Wicca, I would tell them that I was raised Catholic, and what did I take from the church was the altar, the candles, the incense, and the chanting. Incorporated them into my own home, and that's where my church is at.
Okay. So if this were my dream, I would say that you are entering the mysteries.
Yes.
Because the darkness in the church, the dark is the mystery. Okay, it isn't bad or evil. It's just unknown,
No.
right? And we're entering the time of mystery. We're in the northern hemisphere. We're entering into the darkest time of the year, and so
Yeah.
in that. But also I got this real feeling of the whole mystical sense of Christ is the bridegroom of the soul.
Mhm. Oh yes. And Scorpio moon on top of that, my detriment.
So the thing though is, how is your meditation? How is your spiritual life right now? Have you been,
Oh, that's the only thing that makes me survive this world right now is my spirituality, because my divinations are saying that I'm reborn. This is the time of dying to rebirth. I'm going into hibernation, and I should pay attention, of course, with Mercury gone retrograde. Yay!
yeah?
Yeah, just to pay attention, be still, be quiet, and let it. And like you said before, let this mystery come in. And sometimes it kind of scares me a little bit, but I'm not as scared as I used to when I used to try to jump off of a precipice into the ocean.
Yeah.
Before I water, I would wake up. Now it's like I'm ready.
Yep. Well,
Ready.
the other one was to prove your courage. This one is to prove your courage in a different way by surrendering. And I think maybe it's easier this time because your sister is backing you up. She's there as like a support.
Yeah. Yes. I'm
know?
sorry. I did. Excuse me, Kathy, but I did her chart. You know, she's really Catholic. She's very religious. And sometimes in the past we would get into conflicts when it comes to religion and my spirituality. But now I find that she's really finding it interesting because she has got 4 planets in Pisces in the 12th house.
Wow.
And I said, there's where her spirituality is at.
That's
And
it.
she says, gosh, you know, I wish I had a friend or a girlfriend that I could talk to like I can talk to you now. So she's kind of like an opening up, and I'm not being as defensive. She used to intimidate me, even though she was my younger sister. She does it now. That 9-hour conversation we had on the telephone 20 years ago cleared a lot of stuff. It stopped me from being afraid of her, because she did. She used to intimidate me. She doesn't now, because I would leave when I come home to California. I would leave to the airport with her crying. And now it's like I would like to just take her and embrace her and love her and wish she was here, that close to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm missing that I don't have that family here. Although I have other friends that are like family, but she's the only sister now. But when I looked at her chart and then I did grandmother's chart and mother's chart, and I saw all these stadiums and all these houses, and I'm going, oh my God, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No. See, we're living out our family karma as well as our personal karma. We are the blossoms on our family tree.
Yes.
And the fruit, hopefully. So, you know, this is something your sister is opening up. And so this is the shadow aspect of you, the sister in you, the bee in you, who's opening up to spirit. Right. And so you should give her a call and tell her that she is just in a great dream of yours and helping you.
You know, you're right, because I was going to call her yesterday, and I kept saying, call her, and I didn't call her. And you're probably right. When I finish talking to you here, I'm going to call her.
Good.
Talk to her. I haven't talked to her for about a month. I called her on her birthday on the 21st of August, which was the solar
big eclipse.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yes, and I told her, you've got to honor this eclipse. I said, and she said, you're more excited about it than I am. But I said, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. She's going through a lot of changes too. So perhaps the two of you are opening up to the spirit at the same time. So yeah, I would say give her a call. Whenever we dream about our people, it's always good to call them just to make sure everything's okay. But also, we're connected in the dream world. Why not in the outer world? That's
right. And you know, I was just thinking about that today. I was thinking when I was working on my beaded work, and I said, you know what? My sister-in-law, my oldest brother's wife, lives in Washington, and I keep telling her every year, I'm going to come over to when the lilacs are blooming. I want to be there when the lilacs are blooming, because they got these lilac trees. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to call my sister, and I'll call her tonight. We got to make arrangements to make a flight to Washington when the lilacs are blooming and be there together. Yeah. We need to have another trip together.
Yeah. See, this is the new life that wants to come to us, this spontaneous love. Okay, you too, Tasha. That spontaneous idea with the love, it's like, yes, I have to see my sister. We're going. Okay, that's the type of knowing that just is like, yes.
Well, when my mother was alive, and I finally I read the book My Mother, Myself, and I thought, oh God, I got to talk to my mom. She's I got to know who this woman is, not my mother. I want to know who this woman is. So I wanted to make arrangements to go back home to see her so we could sit down and have a woman-to-woman talk. And that night, one Sunday night, I was so anxious that my girlfriend said, "What's wrong?" I told her, "I don't know." So I was staying with her at another town. And when we came home to my house, a friend of ours came out, and I said, "What are you doing here?" She says, "Your mother died this morning." And I went,
Oh,
"Oh my God." So she came to me in anxiety the night before saying, "I'm going, I'm going."
yeah.
But she comes to me in a chair in spirit all the time when I need her. She was not there to nurture me when I was growing up, or she comes to me to nurture me when I'm having troubles through the chair
That's
now that
great.
I'm an adult. Hmm.
That's great. We've broken down the barriers between the worlds. So we're living
Yeah.
multidimensionally, which is so much more fun because you can let them
Yeah.
go. You can go, okay, Mom, if you need to die, I love you. See you on the other side. And, you know,
Uh-huh.
and know that if you need them, that we can always connect to them rather than,
Yeah.
uh-oh, it's the end. They're probably in nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay, well, that's great. What a good dream. So this is, you know, to go back to our Catholic background, this is Advent. This is the season when we sit there and long for the light, long for the birth of the divine child. So great time for you to meditate for these next few weeks until winter solstice and Christmas, and let that beautiful light shine in your heart, definitely.
One thing you had said something about this is to be time to be courageous.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something. My divinations, when I did them on full moon on Sunday, what was one of my cards? Courage.
Yeah,
Courage. You're
good.
right. To let know who I really am, especially to my Catholic family. But you know, yes, it was a wonderful dream. I'm glad I was able
Okay.
to talk about it. Okay, thank you.
Fantastic dream. Okay, so
Okay.
Susie, is it Susie? Are you here? Unmute.
Yeah. Hi
Hi.
there, it's Suzanne.
Suzanne, yeah.
Nice to see you again. Actually, my brother is here. If I can get him to sit down.
Oh, good.
I don't really have much of a dream myself. Haven't been, but he tells me his dreams all the time. So, like I said, so I'll let him share a dream.
Okay,
Actually,
what?
I'll be still here. I'm beside you, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my brother Joe.
Hi, Joe. I'm Kathy. And there's Susie and Lee and Tasha. How are you doing?
Great. Okay. Well, I'm looking for work at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. So I had this dream a while ago that I was playing baseball. I hit the ball and I ran to first base on like a really slow, struggling paralysis run, you know?
Yeah.
And then I got there and I was safe, but the ball was like way in the outfield. And then so I ran to second and it was still paralyzed running, like paralyzed running. And then I got to second, and then when I got to second, there was nobody on third, like none of the players were there. And so I could lumber on into third, but then I woke up.
Okay. Well, part of it, I've had those dreams where you feel like you are running against a force field, right?
Yeah.
Or running through molasses. I figured out in my dream once that if I walked backwards, I would get there. So there is a funny thing about when you're close to a complex, okay? Psychologically, we have all of this sort of what we call archetypes in us: the mother, the father, the lover, the worker, you know, energetic points, right? And it's totally energized. And it attracts experiences. So let's say there's an archetype of the worker. And so if you've had good experiences, it's a positive thing. But if you've had bad experiences, it's harder, right? So I wonder if this is, baseball is the game where we come home, right? We get home. The whole point is to hit a ball so we get home to home plate. And it could be about work, and it could be about that, you feel as if you're slogging through. But 3 is the number of process. It means something's underway. In fairy tales, believe it or not, the reason why the prince has to perform 3 tasks, or there's 3 balls for the princess, is because the energy of 3 is a process. If something happens once, it's a unique experience. If it happens twice, it could be related, but maybe not. But by the 3rd time, we know, okay, something's moving. So there's something moving forward. It's hard for you, okay? But the field is clear, okay? So I don't know if it's a part of you that thinks this is too hard. I don't really want to be doing this. Why should I be doing this at my age? This is ridiculous. All of those things that we go through in our head that could make it be hard for you to keep moving from base to base. But I don't see any opposition. It's almost only in yourself.
Yeah, I think I should be more confident in my abilities
Yeah.
and pursue it with a little bit more vigor.
Yeah, because you know what? As I was telling Tasha, nobody's supposed to be perfect, okay? And if you look at the world, you know that we are not being run by perfect workers, okay, in any sense of it. And so the expectations are that we do have to be amazingly better. And self-confidence is such an important issue for Americans. For some reason, we all have what Jungians call a negative mother complex. We don't feel good enough, okay? I don't know why, but I think it's because we're not rooted in our earth, that we've all come from another country at some point. If you live in Europe or if you live in Africa, you have these deep roots and traditions. And you find that they're very different. Because in America, everything's on the surface. We move fast, we change fast, we have no roots, we have no traditions, not really. And so part of our trouble is we constantly think we have to be better and stronger and faster, rather than I need to be rooted and deeper. And then develop that self-confidence that says, wow, I'm here. I know what I'm doing.
Yep, I agree with you.
So I would just say you made it to 3rd. You just need somebody to bunch you home. And so, or slam a home run. But whatever it is you plan to do next, you've already made it 3/4 of the way. I wouldn't give up.
No, I'm not. This week will be a good week.
Good. The past few weeks have been hard on everybody. And so we have to figure that sometimes, that's the other thing with our culture, patriarchy, we could call it. It's all about the rugged individuals. So if things are hard, it's your fault. But sometimes if you look at it in a different perspective, the whole collective mindset is freaking out. And so it's been hard on everyone. I have had so many people this week tell me how miserable their coworkers are, or this is going on, or that's going on. It's just everybody goes, I've had a stressful week. So the collective energy plays into it. Part of it is you have to do your part and de-stress.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep. Thanks.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me again.
Hi. How you doing, Suzanne? So no dreams at all?
Not really, but you know what I wanted to say when you were speaking with Tasha, and I have been reading about Chiron, the wounded healer, and asking myself, what about it? I know that I was born at the time when Chiron in Pisces, and anyways, I'm not really much of an astrologer, but I had heard that at this time, that Chiron is kind of coming to the fore. Yeah, and I think it's such a wonderful thing. It's like I asked myself, well, how could I understand it? And I said, well, there's definitely an inner sense of woundedness, but the same is to be present with that woundedness and still connect into the world and still seek your way, just to put one foot in front of the other. And the kinds of things that a person could create are really quite wonderful, because they're kind of an inner and an outer happening at the same time. I don't know how else to say it. Does that make any sense?
Of course it does. As within, so without. As above, so below. It is an inner and outer happening. And if you ever want to jump in, that's why after I was done, I said, does anyone want to jump in? So if anyone wants to, please don't ever feel like you can't. If we were all sitting around a table, I would say to everybody, okay, everybody, what do you want to ask her? What do you think of her dream? And everybody would come in with a bit. Okay? And that's fun too. Okay? Yeah. But Chiron in Pisces is about, you know, Chiron is the wounded healer, but he was also the mentor. You know, and I think we have to get beyond, oh, this is this wound that will never heal, to this is a wound that is teaching us to be a hero. It's teaching us our destiny. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because Chiron also connects Saturn and Uranus. It's the bridge between reality and other realities. And so it's the wound. Do you know Sting's song, Lazarus Heart? By the blood of the Lazarus Heart. I can't sing it, but look it up, Lazarus Heart. It's the wound his mother gave him, okay? The wound that would heal him. And that's sort of like Chiron. Okay, we have to not get so stuck in, oh, this is my wound forever. It's a philosophical, you know, remember, it's a bigger wound. It's not a mommy or daddy wound. You'll never get over it. It's like, no, that's not it. Right?
No, yeah.
Trying to bring the body, mind, and spirit together. He's a horseman. He's trying to relate our animal spirit to our, you know, to our logical thinking human spirit. So, so he's saying this is the place where you can connect, right?
It's a unified whole, you know, embracing the wound as well, the woundedness, but also the gift that it brings us, embracing the light with the dark. I mean, without the wound, we wouldn't be shaped. You know, I was thinking of Chiron and also the phoenix. You know, the phoenix had to burn away. It had to completely be destroyed before it could rise and be what it was supposed to be. Its very wound, its very destruction was the agent of the beautiful mystical creature of light that it was meant to be all along, but it never could have been without that wound, without that burning, you know, and that just ties into the Chiron idea as well and all of this.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Have you read the fairy tales, the Russian fairy tales about the Firebird?
Ooh, no.
Oh yeah, you know, we talk about it, but we all talk about it like, okay, it's this and that's it. But there's fairy tales, there's stories, and especially Vasilisa. I think she runs into the Firebird, but there's, you know, Stravinsky wrote that whole Firebird suite because of these fairy tales. So look up Russian fairy tales, look up fairy tales about the Firebird, because they come along with the myth. They're like the way the myth has come down to us, and so what's the hero's journey that goes along with the phoenix or the Firebird? That's a good one. We could all look that one up. I think I'll look that one up too.
It's a kind of nice solstice thing, the Firebird.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Okay, well, anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
Yeah, this is Lee. I just discovered how to get on camera.
Oh, good.
Just take off my tape from that little eye there, and you can see my ceiling and the camera.
Yeah, put it down. Shut off your phone. If you have your computer on, get off your phone because you're doubling, you're rippling, and then show us who you are on your...
Oh, no. No. You won't want to see you. Show you myself right now. That's why I'm in the dark. I mean, I got every light in here off. And I've been in my pajamas all day. No, you won't be able to see me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead. And
okay. Well, next time either call on one or the other, and then you won't echo. Okay.
All righty. All right, I'm gonna hang up.
Okay, well, then I would ask full moon blessings on you. I don't know, did I tell you this? But I had this image of the moon's light as laughter. I was writing a poem, so think of when you go out, go stand under the moonlight tonight and think of all that beautiful light as the moon's laughter and see how you feel.
All right.
Okay? So
All right.
we will get together in 2 weeks, the 18th.
All right.
Okay?
Then you can see what I look like.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Good night.
Bye.
Sweet
Bye.
dreams.
See you, everyone.
Everybody, sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, Bach.